Hi, I'm Dr. Sean Bostic. I am the face behind the human edge. These next few series, or my whole series, is based on being human while enforcing regulations within the financial services industry. Like I said, I'm Dr. Sean Bostic. I conducted research and complying with FINRA regulations. My dissertation was one of 100, less than 100 studies, research in this area. I have been a compliance professional since 1991, um, probably way longer than I can imagine. I've seen the regulations change, how the landscape has shifted, how there are more products and complex products out there to cause concern and also create additional benefits for our investors. But my most memorable and fascinating things have come out of me being a branch examiner and a regulatory compliance officer. This has brought such an insight into human interactions, what it means to be bad, what it means to be good, and just the different stories that I've heard and experienced over the years to really make compliance a interesting career and fascinating. There's a lot of people when they hear about regulations and compliance and making sure that people are doing what they say they should do, all about ethics and integrity. Most people tend to tune out. But I hope these showings, these presentations, brings a little bit of insight on how compliance is really interesting. It's a fascinating topic, and being a regulatory compliance officer, I get to experience some of the most interesting stories that are in compliance professionals. Now, although I have to change the names and trying to change up a bit of the scenarios, I do have a lot of stories that I want to share with you. And just to let you know that there's still good people out there. There are good people with good intentions that do bad things, and there are bad people who shouldn't be in the industry at all. And those are the people that I like to make sure that we can weed out in the within the industry. Most of the time, almost 90% of the time, we find that good people with good intentions often take a path that might be the one they should take. Or good people with good intentions encounter other people with bad intentions and they get caught up in a scheme or wrapped up in a play. And it's really heartbreaking to see some of these situations. Um, the fascinating thing about being a financial advisor in the broker dealer world and regulations is, when there's a complaint or a serious issue that comes up that might be false, there's still a lot of reporting and investigations that go on, and it could be it could be demoralizing and troubling for a person who just wants to do right by their customers. So I like to do this human approach, approaching new people and especially my financial professionals as human beings. And when I say that, I know it might sound simple, but when you're dealing with a lot of representatives or dealing with bad things, not bad people, but bad topics all the time, you can get swept up into nobody is good and everyone is trying to hurt one another. When really, you should go into these things open minded and empathetic and ask the true questions of, hey, what went on, in order to get that honesty that most people in this industry want to provide. They want to share their stories. They want people to see that they really, really have the best interests of their clients at heart. But there's always some interesting stories that come out, and like I said, I'm just here to share and here hopefully so my new compliance next gen people have some reason to really want to go into this career, to really want to change it and be a part of the change of this new technology coming in and our challenges with those new controls, and really understand that human behavior is going to be the main focus of compliance as we have more and more automation coming to our industry. But I want to, like I said, share a little story with you tonight. You see, I'm all comfy in the living room with my best pal Miles next to me to keep me company. And I just thought I would just tell a branch exam story of when I used to travel across the United States, um, checking up on our financial professionals who were independent contractors. Now, independent contractors are not employees of actual financial services firms, so they're not an employee of a Merrill Lynch or JP Morgan. What these guys are, they have their own shops, they provide financial planning. Usually, they have a lot of referrals, they're helping their community with planning for education. They're making planning for retirement, planning for vacations and the things, the big items that they like to purchase, and maybe growing their wealth in the stock market, in the investment world. But these guys have to be associated with a broker dealer, and the firms I work for, what they do is they provide that broker dealer service for these individual financial planners that you find in downtowns or in their own community. We are their backbone, and we would provide the compliance services or the oversight for their activities. So it was my job as a branch examiner to go out and visit our guys in the field and review their books and records, what they were keeping, how they were servicing their clients, if they were keeping accurate records on transactions, if they understood the regulations, and basically trying to ensure that the good guys are still the good guys. Lots of stories out there. There was one time that I visited this gentleman. He knew I was coming, and usually like to make those trips in the morning to get the process out of the way, to get the visit out of the way so they can get back to their business. And I, like to call the guys or call before I'm going to arrive. So he knew I was coming in that day. I did my preliminary phone call, letting them know that was close. And then when I got to the door, I knocked, of course, and there was a delay with him answering the door. So I'm standing there thinking, well, maybe he forgot I was coming, or no. I told him it was coming. Maybe he ran out the back door. I was just trying to make some sense of why he wasn't really answering the door when I was there. So I knocked again, and finally he shows up, but he's in uh, he has a bath towel wrapped around his waist, and he's like, "Hey, hi, come on in. Make yourself at home, and I'm gonna go take a shower." Now, I don't know if I made this clear, but a lot of these guys, sometimes they work out of their house. So I was in someone's residence to review his books and records. Usually they have an office that I would sit in and we'd go over their things. But uh, this guy just wasn't ready. even though I called him. He just wasn't ready for my visit. So I sat there wondering, like, I hope he's not doing this with his clients because then we have another issue. And he finally showers and he comes out and he's like, well, thanks. Thanks for waiting on me. My wife is a teacher at the school. I just got finished walking her to work and I was all sweaty. And so I wanted to take a shower. It makes sense. Fine. That makes sense. But I'm in your home. You knew I was coming. I mean, okay, let's do this then. So we're starting to look at the records and we go to one of his bedrooms that he has converted to an office. And it's at this point where a female branch examiner, if they, it just maybe crosses their mind that this man who opened the door half naked to let this female branch examiner in to take her to a bedroom to do a branch exam just kind of gives you this eerie kind of creepiness going up your spine. But I try to shake that off, try to make sure that the bedroom door is open and try to conduct the exam. So I was looking at some of his transactions, trying to make sure that there were tickets that matched the actual trade, trying to make sure that his documentation was in order for transactions and conversations, make sure he has new account information for him on file for the clients, just some of the basic things that I do. But at some point in time, um, my financial professional got bored and he decided that he was going to go to the living room while I was in the bedroom and take a nap on the couch. So I was, okay, all right, okay. So while he took a nap, I finished my job. And then I had a couple of questions for him, just trying to confirm information, validate that what I was seeing was what I was seeing, and then have a conversation about some best practices. Now, maybe I should have said that a real, truly best practice and a way to really improve what you bring to the table is to have clothes on when you open the door. You should not be opening the door half dressed. Now, as I had the conversation about making sure to record accurate records and make sure that you are updating the records as the situation changes for the client, making sure that the address is updated, making sure that their financial objectives are updated based on the client's current situation. I could have included and make sure you don't lounge around the couch in your underwear while talking to the client. This is not a good look. No, I didn't say any of those things. I wrote up my information, confirmed that he was meeting with clients outside the home, maybe, and confirmed that um, he and his wife were still, having a strong marriage as I sit there with this man who might get undressed at any period of time. No shame. No shame to this guy. Anyway, that was just one story that I like. It's not, these stories aren't really, I guess, that they're so interesting, but it just really shows that people are human. I mean, and sometimes when you're working, you find out that they do human things. You find out that they still have to take showers, they still get sleepy and take naps. People, you just communicate with them on their level, make them feel comfortable. Because all in all, our conversations were enlightening. They clarified any questions. They reassured that This gentleman had his client's best interest in mind when making recommendations. He showed me his passion for the business, and he was just, this plain guy in a plain house with plain showers and plain couches and open. He had me in his office without trying to sit there with me and hide certain papers or documents. So the trust that he had in me, also was reassuring. And that's really one aspect of my job I enjoy. I get to know these people who do these amazing things for others and realize that they are human. They're not these robots, or they're not the people we see on TV like the Bernie Madoffs or the Wolf of Wall Street. They're just human people doing a job and trying to make sure that they provide the best service for their investors, for their clients. So I'm so happy to share the story with you. I look forward to sharing many more stories. And I'm going to be out here dealing with humans because I'm human and talking to them, hearing their stories, and learning how to deal with challenging conversations. And as I do so, I'm going to bring them back to all of us so we can share our thoughts and think about things that make us go, I guess. But think about things that are just touching and understanding, to bring some of that mutual understanding between people and this difficult challenge of complying. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Miles and I will be back, and we look forward to talking to you and sharing with you more. Bye.